Doug.
And I'm Cathy.
And this is Maggie Mae.
Mae.
Join us as we follow the moon. Well, today we are in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and we have driven through this town once before, but we wanted to come back and spend a day here. So let us show you around this beautiful area, full of springs, full of historic buildings. It's just a beautiful spot, so come along and enjoy.
Thanks.
Now, Eureka Springs is kind of like no other. It's a very neat little town, and if you'll notice on this street, the curb is painted red, and that means you're in the historic district.
Yes, it is very historic.
I love the little Texaco cottage there.
Really a step back in time.
And very pretty. You can tell there's a lot of pride in the community. They take very nice care of a lot of these older, beautiful homes. And we just wanted to start off and bring you through this little area of the historic district first. This is something I thought was really neat. There's a tree that had been taken down, but rather than just take it down, they've got all those eagles carved in it. Now this is a great landmark for the city, sitting high up on the hill. It's the Crescent Hotel. This was built in the late 1800s at a cost of around $250,000 back then. And it is really, really a sight. And it's very, very haunted from what we've heard.
Yes. And there's several businesses in there that you can go in.
Yeah, there's a spa in here, and the lobby, it looks like you're stepping back in time. Beautiful little calliope over here. This is the back side of the big fireplace. Elevator, staircase, player piano there. Just really taking a step back in time. If we weren't in a motorhome, that'd be a beautiful place to stay.
Oh yeah.
And that's the grounds behind it. And as you can see, this entire town is built on a mountainside, a hillside. So everything is multiple levels. Now directly behind it is the St Elizabeth Cathedral. This is a major tourist stop. They have a gift shop there and everything. But it's a beautiful, small church. And it surprised me just how small it actually was. The grounds are beautiful. And as you enter, you go into this small chamber here in the beginning.
It's so amazing.
And then this is the sanctuary. And again, it's not large, but it's beautiful, it's breathtaking. And as you go to leave, I think you get the best view of all. This area with the stars in the sky. Now there's tons of little gardens, and the springs that Eureka Springs are named after throughout the town. This is the Carnegie Library garden, located right there by the library. And again, you can see the houses sitting way up high. This I thought was amazing, this Eastview Cottage. A lot of these homes are on the National Historic Register. And a little bit of the backstory on it there.
We love going through and reading all the little signs. It tells you so much about their story.
Now this is Harding Spring, and a lot of these springs are just right along the street. You can see the water coming out of it there. And this will give you, again, a little more of the backstory on it. But there are springs around the entire town. This is an area with steps going up to, I believe there's a parking lot up at the top of that. And down below here is Sweet Spring. This is actually at the road level. And most of these you can just park along the side of the road and come back and see. They all have plaques that describe the spring and the history behind that particular site. And they're all very different.
Yes.
They all have their own unique character. Now, this is as you enter the historic downtown. And again, these buildings are incredible.
And I just love, the people are so friendly. And I love how there's just wines around. And it's always, it looks like it's just always kind of busy now. You're not seeing a whole lot of people out there, but it was busy.
Very much. And you can tell it's not flat land. This is all on the mountainsides. The way the streets wind, it reminds me a lot of when we were in Bisbee, Arizona.
Yes.
It's a lot more mountain town versus western town, but it still kind of has that same feel to it. There are really some great murals around the town, just like the one you saw on our thumbnail. And the bathing regularly and often was a big thing. That's where all these springs came in, and one of the reasons this was a great attraction for people. There was a giant hotel on that corner that burnt down in the 1990s, but there was a major fire in the 1890s that took out a lot of North Main Street. Now here again, this is Gad Spring. This one's kind of different. You could see the water coming down through the channel, and down in the hole
You could hear it gurgling.
you could hear it, but there was greenery growing in there. You couldn't see it. And there's all kinds of artwork everywhere.
Artwork in little places. Just sit down and watch.
Mm-hmm. Now, this was the city gymnasium and auditorium, and now it is a live theater building. This one was built in 1928. Just up the street from that is the Carroll County Courthouse. The original courthouse was 12 miles away, and 12 miles in these kind of conditions was quite a long drive. So they petitioned the state and were allowed to build another courthouse here for Carroll County. Again, all these buildings you'll find on the National Historic Register. I love Wooden Cigar Indian. Even the little red building is on the National Register.
Yeah.
And this was an area that the Civil War, one of the generals was familiar with the area, so he brought his troops back here for the therapeutic waters after the war was over.
I think the therapeutic waters were the draw, not so much as a tourist attraction, but for a place for healing, both mentally and physically.
It was definitely a wellness-oriented community.
And community is the big word here. It's not just tourism, it's a community. People have lived there years and years and just really love being here.
Now, Basin Spring Park, known as the Balm of Life, is right in the middle of the downtown. And they've made this little amphitheater. In fact, it was getting a paint job while we were there. It's just a nice little park. You'll find buskers on the street. There was one fella here playing banjo.
Mm-hmm.
Right over there.
And I loved how the streets, they're terraced in the city. The city's terraced, so you can see the streets, buildings from one to the next, all from one spot.
Now, the Basin Park Hotel, the building with the green awnings down there, is definitely the tallest building in the town at 6 stories. And it is a beautiful old hotel right down in the downtown. The Crescent we showed you sits up on the hill, kind of overlooking the downtown. And you can see how those buildings are built going up the hill. I love the one there in the triangle.
I do too.
Now, we found Blackie's backyard here. And you know how it is when you see the dog stores. And Maggie got a new sling out of the deal.
And that's comfortable. I was really surprised.
Now, the building that you see there with the half-circle canopy on the front is the Citizens Bank building. Again, going back into the late 1800s. A little microbrewery there across the street. And the building you see at the very end is the New Orleans Hotel. It's got the black wrought iron like you'd think of with New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
The beautiful building. You can still see the painting on the side of the wall. Undertakers and embalmers with a finger pointing down. And then here is one that's a tavern, and you can see the entrance is there on the side in the stairway. Now, where those colorful umbrellas are is the new Dehli Cafe, and we stopped there for lunch. They've got a great outdoor patio. They're very pet friendly, and a very diverse menu. They bill themselves as the best burgers in town, which is what brought us there, and then we neither one did burgers.
That's right.
But they've got a great menu. They do offer some Indian entrees. Cathy had a grilled chicken and avocado sandwich, and I had a great Indian feast. It was fantastic. Now, this was the old Eureka Springs Ice House. It's right along the railroad line, and it's still sitting there, but there is the rest of the railroad line, and that becomes the Eureka Springs and North Arkansas Railroad. And they do train rides there a couple of days a week, and it's a neat little historic and museum area.
It's a treat to just check it out.
Absolutely, and there's the depot for it. It takes up a good bit of length along the road. Across the street from it, you'll see this building, and this was actually the station master's house, and the building beside it is the Brownstone Inn. But if you look at that, the bottom part of that was from the roundhouse back in the late 1800s, and then they built the inn on top of that. And you can spot the walls and everything there are the other color stone. It really does show the age difference. Magnetic Springs is probably the most important spring in town. This was thought that if you put a metallic object into it, it would become magnetic. And because of that, have all kinds of healing properties. People came from all over the world for magnetic springs. It's been recently renovated. We had been through town a couple of years ago, and it was under reconstruction at that point. But it's a beautiful area. And up on top of the hill on the other side of town is the area for the Great Passion Play. This is really a beautiful area, and they do a live play, and you can see it's on a very large scale of the life, the Passion of Christ.
Plenty of seating.
Mm-hmm. They also have a piece of the actual Berlin Wall, and that's a 10-foot by 10-foot square of the wall on display there. Now, this area is set up that you can roam through as if touring part of the Holy City. They also, the white building down at the end, they do have a buffet there on the days that they have the play.
There's museums.
But the thing that area is known for the most, and this is something you can see from all the way across the city, is the Christ of the Ozarks. This is a huge statue that's up on top of the hill. It's lighted. They have music piped in playing. And as you approach it from the backside. there's an area down at the base of it where you can sit and look over the city, and that's what it looks like from that area.
So inspiring.
So Cathy, what did you think about our day in beautiful Eureka Springs, Arkansas?
This place is amazing. It is so beautiful. It's otherworldly is my only way of describing it.
And this is again one of those towns that gets wiped out by a fire back in the 1890s, and yet there's still this much old historical architecture and beauty around the town.
And how could it not be beautiful with all the springs running through it?
That's right. So if you've enjoyed the video today as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you, leave us a thumbs up. We sure appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, watch for the button at the end of the video up in that corner. Touch that button on your screen and ring the notification bell, and that way you'll know when all of our videos come out.
And thank you for following us as we follow the moon.